is Tracey Brock from Real 101, and I'm happy to welcome Joe Killinger today. Joe, welcome to Real 101, and we're happy to have you.
Tracey, thank you for having me on today.
Great,
I'm excited to talk to you about everything that we're working on.
great. Can you just give us a little introduction on who Joe Killinger is?
You're going to give a commercial real estate person a chance to talk about themselves. Of course, we can do that.
Great.
Yeah, I'll keep it short. My name's Joe Killinger. I'm a real estate entrepreneur. I start companies. I've done three. I did Commercial Brokers International, DBL Realtors, Fred Sands, or the Sands Group, a real estate auction company. I took them to 5 million in revenue within the first 18 months. And it was all different stages of the internet, which was very interesting. So one of them, I had no internet. Second one, we built through connections. And third one was a combination of internet and having personal connections with the residential real estate industry. And so we really focused on growing companies. And right now, a lot of what I'm doing is educating real estate agents on how to grow their business. And I touch some on real estate investing as well. So I dabble in all those different platforms.
Oh, sounds very interesting. When you're doing that, who would you say your biggest mentors or influence are in the real estate industry?
You know, it's completely, so there's a guy named Alan Long, and he was somebody, there was two, one of them passed away recently, but he really, for some reason, this guy's name was Fred Sands, had a startup auction company with him. And he saw something in me and he gave me the reins, and which I don't know why. I was 20 some years old, and he just built this company with me. And I was doing real estate auctions. I had a business partner, George Pino. He's now the CEO of our commercial brokerage company. And this guy, Fred Sands, just said, let's do this together. And I had marketing experience. My business partner, George, had closing experience when it come to real estate auctions, but neither one of us together had run an auction company. I don't know what possessed Fred to say, okay, let's do this, but he did. And then he gave us a lot of free reign, but he was also running one of the largest independent residential real estate firms in the state of California. And he ended up selling. So we ended up going over to another firm called DBL Realtors, and that was run by a guy called Alan Long. And he is still my mentor to this day. Both these guys built these companies from scratch. And so Alan Long has been somebody that I just took a meeting with a few weeks ago just to kind of keep my finger on everything going on in the LA market and talk to him about everything I'm working on. And I think at some point I'm going to create a board of directors, and he's going to be the first call that I make. Having a good mentor is somebody that's very important.
Yeah. That's good. Well, what was the main lesson that they left you with? Is that the lesson, having a good mentor?
Listen more than talk. And, you know, that goes right back to my father when I was a kid. And mindset, those two things together, is have the right mindset and make sure you're listening. Because if you have a mentor and you're not listening to them, that's a problem. You know, you don't know more than they do. You want to make sure you're listening to what they have to say. But both of them, Fred and Alan Long, both really pushed those two things. I don't know, there's probably 30 years between them in age, but they still managed very similarly and both very successful. And they both had the same, you know, mindset and listening. You know, you don't, I think because I was in my 20s, you know, we tend to think we know everything, especially when we start having success. A few failures are not that, those two things were very key from both of them.
Okay, so I guess that would be the one thing you would say to younger Joe.
Yep. Just like my father used to say, Joe, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Shut up and listen. It's amazing how the older I get, the smarter he gets.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I think that's true with all parents.
Yeah.
What do you think separates top performing agents from those who struggle?
I think mindset is probably to learn, the ability to learn. You know, I find that the people that I've run into that are really focused on becoming a better version of themselves are the ones that are learning every day. They're looking for something to get to better themselves. And that is almost across the board. And everybody I find that's highly successful, and they never stop learning. They're always looking for something new.
There's always something to learn. I truly believe in that. I do a lot of conferences. I do a lot of podcasts, website researching. Yep. Learning is the key to growth for sure. And when you grow, you prosper. So that's,
you know, and here's the thing though, Tracey, is that I always tell everybody, you know, always take advice from people that are where you want to get to, because there's so many people on these podcasts and these YouTube videos and everywhere that you have one of these things, you know, they've got advice for you, right? But when you sit and listen to most of them, they don't know what they're talking about. They've never been through it. So you got to make sure you're getting the right person to give you the advice. But I find that you can also learn from somebody that's newer in it, because especially in our industry, I think in commercial real estate brokerage and investing, younger generation coming into it, there's really an open door right now because there's so much that you can be doing with all these new tools. And I find you're going to learn that from the younger generation. So really be open to anybody to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, they are savvy with all the tech that's coming in for
Yes,
sure.
they are. I was like, a few times I'm like, okay, I didn't know we could do that.
It's nice, and it's a nice little smirk on their face when they're like, "Yeah, you can."
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
How have you seen the real estate industry evolve over the past decade?
Well, residential always evolves a lot faster. I mean, the adoption of the new marketing systems, residential is so far ahead of commercial, but you're seeing it's just so much easier to market properties right now. Commercial is starting to hit a wave of the brokers are starting to figure out how to market themselves a lot better. If your company will allow it, you're starting to see that there's a lot of, especially younger generation and old, some of the most successful commercial brokers. I don't know if you know who Bob Knackel is out of New York, but he sold 20 some billion dollars worth of real estate. Go look, he's on Twitter, he's on LinkedIn, he's on Instagram, he's everywhere. And his content is very educational and informational. Very good. I learned a lot from Bob. But, I think there's going to be a big transformation in commercial real estate. And also, what I think is a real opportunity for somebody new to get into commercial real estate right now, if they get into the right brokerage, and that is the ability to market yourself. And like, again, these people that are born with these things in their hands, there's a huge opportunity to go into a marketplace. And if your competitor is just doing nothing but cold calls and living off their network of people that they know already, you can start doing that. But also, you can go out there and create content and get inbound leads and get people to call you, which actually close at a higher rate than outbound, the cold calling. So I
Yes.
think there's a huge opportunity for a younger generation to get into our industry, which is badly needed because I think the average age in commercial real estate brokerage is 55 to 62, somewhere in there. So
Shh, you're making me sound
become an
old.
opportunity.
What's the biggest misconception that people have about real estate agents in general? Real estate professionals, I should say. Sorry.
Well, I'll tell you what we see is they think it's easy. They think, oh, you go out, you find a property. It's not. And, the top producers in our office are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but they're not showing up at 10 and leaving at 3. And this is a tough business, especially when you're starting out. It can get a lot easier, as anything does as you get older, right? But
Of
you get the
course,
network, you get the marketing team that you're working with. But
you get the
it's
trust.
very hard to get started in both. I've done residential and commercial, and I've sat in offices with residential and I've sat in offices with commercial. The top producers in residential are the first ones in the office every morning and the last ones to leave. And same with commercial. And,
Yeah.
I talked to a young agent years ago. She's now doing extremely well. It's been so great to see her growth. And her name is Ari Mencia. She's in our office. When she started, she was, I summer in Spain every year and I'll be gone for 2 months because every summer I'll be in Spain for 2 months. My husband and their family. And I'm like, that is not going to happen. I said, there's no way. And she goes, yeah, it'll happen. I said, no. It won't. First summer comes along. This is in, I think, October we were having this conversation. We brought her on board anyway. Typically, I wouldn't bring somebody on board that was going to vacation 2 months out
Yeah.
of the year when they're just getting started. And she started getting busy. Now, she came from a property management background, so she knew the market already. But she never made that vacation ever. So she still does. She goes on vacation. She probably gets combined over the good amount of vacation. But you've got to have the mindset of like, listen, I'm running a startup and I am the startup. This is my company that I'm running. And I think a lot of people just think, you know what? I think they watch those $1 million listing shows
Yeah.
and they think that, hey, I'm gonna counter back. Deal's done. I'll see you later. No, that's not the way it's done. So
Yeah.
you've got to buckle up and buckle in and be ready for the first few years and know that it's not what you're seeing on TV.
That's correct. That's correct. Well, you've touched on this a little bit with regards to technology, but how do you think it's really going to impact the industry going forward?
I think it's going to be huge for the industry. I think you're going to have a broader reach for all the investors. And here's the thing is already, it used to be like when I started, pre-internet, was the brokers controlled all the data, right? If you needed something, who did you have to come to? You had to come to me to get the information.
Yep.
Not anymore, because that information is public information and AI is going to make that even faster because there's so many tools coming out that an investor is going to know everything that a broker knows. But you're going to have to be the broker that knows the market better than everybody else. So, and you better know your AI tools. It's not AI that's going to take over the business. It's the brokers that know how to use the AI and those tools. That's what you want to focus on.
So you would say that that would be the skills that these brokers are going to need in the next 5, 10 years, is just the ability to adapt to the technology.
Sooner. It's happening
Yeah.
pretty fast. I mean, some of the technology that we're seeing every day is amazing. I mean, look at ChatGPT just partnered with Walmart. You can go on and get your Walmart order through ChatGPT now. Can't say
I
it.
know it is a mouthful. It's a mouthful.
ChatGPT now. So DoorDash, all those, you better be preparing because
Yeah.
there's going to be a lot of things that are going to be happening that, there's going to be huge opportunities in our industry.
Yeah, that's very true. So how important is personal branding and the
Oh,
reputation in the real estate industry?
personal branding is very important. If nobody knows who you are, then, I mean, you could be the best service in the industry, but if nobody knows who you are and what you're about, you don't have a business. So branding is very important. But here's the thing, if you're getting into commercial real estate, as a broker, you want to make sure you're finding the right brokerage that fits you. So if you're new, you're getting licensed, you're going out and taking interviews, the first company that says, "Hey, Joe, I want you to come on board with me," and you jump at it, that's not necessarily the best company for you. When you're going out and interviewing these brokerages, what you need to be doing is actually interviewing the company too. Find out, what exactly do they offer? Talk to other people that have been in that company. Really find out what the company's all about. What's the company culture like? Do they really say whatever they say? Do they actually do it? Because that's common in our industry. You'll get offered a lot and then you get almost none of it when you get on board. But
Yeah.
if you're new, go find a company that really meets everything that you're looking for, because this is the foundation of your business. This is the base, and you got to build from there. So you want to make sure they're offering the education that you need. And it depends on if you want to be for a team. The big firms are going to say, okay, we're going to bring you on board. We're going to put you on this team. And then you're going to be a cold call lead generation person. And they're going to mentor you a couple days a week. Well, think about it. If you've got a senior that you're working with every day, they're taking a piece of your deal. The company's taking a piece of your deal. You're
Yeah.
getting what's left over. And that's fine in the beginning. Are they allowing you to market yourself, to grow yourself? You really got to ask those questions. Very important to ask. Now, if you go to a smaller firm, those are kind of the wild, wild west, some of them. No training, but you can market yourself. And so if you can find a company that gives you a balance of giving you the training that you need. I'll tell you what we do with Commercial Brokers International. We do training every morning for our new agents at 8:30 in the morning for
Yeah.
45 minutes to an hour, done by our CEO. And then on Tuesdays and Thursday nights, we sit down with our agents that are all, again, the newer ones. There's 4 of them. And we go through what's working for you, what's not working for you. Let's double down on what's working. Let's really focus on making what's not working for you better. And then the agents actually share ideas of what they've done to get better at whatever
Amongst each
aspect.
other, right?
Yeah, so they help each other out.
That's cool.
And so if you can find a company that's doing something like that for you, it is expensive. This is the thing I don't understand, Tracey, is as a commercial real estate brokerage company owner, it costs me a lot of money to bring an agent on. I mean, it's thousands of dollars a month because just CoStar alone is extremely expensive per
Okay.
agent. And then you have desk and you have phones and you've got marketing staff. And so I don't understand as a brokerage owner why you aren't putting all the training into a person so you can get them out in the marketplace and generating revenue quicker. And instead of just putting them on the phones the first week and then letting them fail so much, and then they end up quitting. So, you have to look at these newer people coming into your company as an investment and treat them as a potential revenue source and just make it happen for both of you as quick as you can.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned that there's a high turnaround rate right now in commercial real estate.
87 to 92% after a few years. So,
Yeah.
we've got a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't know of any other industry. And it's lack of education, lack of mentoring. So you don't want to be in that. You want to get, I think ours, we lost some, we lose 1 or 2 agents a year. But it's typically because we tell them how hard it's going to be to get started. And I think I probably did this in the beginning too, was I'll figure this out. I'm not going to be one of those people. I've got it. I know what I'm doing. And so,
I think it's
it
some
can be
capacity. I think it's some capacity. I think that people don't understand that it's a sales job and what
right,
a sales job entails and what that actually means.
right.
It's building trust, it's building your reputation, it's building your image. And if you don't have the capacity to just be able to be you and talk and be who you want to be, then I think that's where some people fail. They just don't understand that it's
Oh
truly a
yeah.
sales job for sure.
Yeah, and you see a lot of the marketing that's done, Tracy. It's backward because they're doing it for them. I was sitting with a residential agent the other day, and she goes, "Oh, residential, it's too hard. I can't get started." I said, "Okay, well, walk me through your marketing." I occasionally hold an open house, and she goes, "But I never cold call." And she goes, "I work the circuit," meaning she goes out to dinners and networking and that kind of stuff. And then I said, "Well, show me your marketing." All the marketing that was being done was about her. It
Yeah.
was, it's a pretty house. It didn't. You want to reverse that and think about the viewer. What does a viewer want to see? Not do I want to post. What does a viewer want to see? And when you figure that out, and all of a sudden you're going to see your likes start going up, you're going to see your follower count start going up. You have to really think about your marketplace and then cater to that. And so many agents really cater to, oh, this is what I want, or this is a pretty picture. And it's great, but it's just not going to get you the result that you want.
Yeah. So once these agents have found the right brokerage, they're in somewhere where the balance is good training and being able to build your brand. What do the new agents typically, what's their biggest mistake they make in the first 2 to 3 years?
There's quite a few of them actually, but it's a lot of them they're just not listening. They want to do what they want to do, or they have a strength and they want to just focus on that strength, and they're not getting well rounded. So, I see agents all the time that, I've got an agent that came from another company and he will just cold call. Born in the area, raised in the area. If he would put content out, everybody would know who he is. But he wants to just cold call. And I'm like, okay, I can't force him. But I think that's the number one thing is do everything that makes you well-rounded and try listening. But also, I think, not getting a mentor. So many of them don't get mentors that are effective. They all sit and talk like our agents in the back. There's 4 of them. And they're all sitting there talking amongst themselves, trying to figure out what they should be doing when, they've got 2 guys sitting in corner offices willing to talk to them, but they're trying to figure it out amongst themselves. And that's why I always tell them, get with somebody that has been where you want to get, take advice from them. Don't take advice from some people at your same level. And you're going to find, and they're starting to figure out, it's figuring out that doing what we're telling them to do, because we'll tell them what to do and they just won't do it. And I talk to other brokerage owners around the country, same thing. So I think it's listening to the right people and understanding that, because it's going to save you time and it's going to make you more money. If you find the right people that have been where you want to get to and gone through what you've gone through, they're going to make you money so much faster, and they're going to save you so much time and make you so much more money.
Yes, I truly believe that as well.
Yeah.
So what does leadership mean to you as it pertains to the context of real estate?
It means somebody that is listening to what their company needs or their people need. If you lead by example, I think that's the most important thing. I don't ask any of our agents to do something that I wouldn't do. And I can give you a prime example is we had an agent he's phenomenal. He started last September. He's done 6 deals already this year. Since last September 2024, and he's doing very well. But then all of a sudden he's working on an event with a city in our area, and I said, okay, well, you need to get all the retailers on board. And every weekend the event was drawing near and near. So finally one Saturday I got up and I just started walking the retailers and asking them, hey, give me your email address, we're going to do this event, are you interested in it? Absolutely. And then I later learned that I had to kind of get short with them and say, listen, I've already done what you need to be doing. You need to be out knocking on doors and walking, and this city wants to work with you, but you're not making any effort. And I said, I've done it. I've walked the street. I know that people want to do it. And then I went with him. And then when I was walking in and asking the right questions to the retailers, he saw the value in it. And then I wasn't doing it right by going out and doing it on my own. I should have went with him right away. And so lesson learned.
Yeah. That's a good leader too, though.
Yeah. That's the thing is, I thought I was really showing him, well, this is what needs to be done. This is what I did, instead of, hey, let's go do it together. And then he just took it and ran with it. Had an amazing event. Mm-hmm.
Well, Joe, thank you very much for participating with Real 101. We really appreciate your time and all the information that you shared. I encourage everybody to follow Joe on his social media through Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also always follow Real 101 as well in our socials. And thank you very much. Again, I'm Tracey Brock, and Joe, thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me on, Tracy.
You're welcome.